going on, folks? Today in Stu's Garage, we're going to be doing a retrofit on the Foxbody Tail lights. This is a really cool idea I've had for a long time, and I'm finally getting to put everything together. It's not going to be super detailed because what I'm doing here is not super complicated. It's pretty much up to your own creativity, but I just wanted to show the process of what I'm doing to make these things. So first of all, on the Foxbody Tail lights, from what I've been told is you don't have to do any craziness like putting these things in the oven to open. Apparently there's nothing really holding these lenses on to the housings, and so what I'm going to do is just take this long flat head. I'm just going to work my way around, and it looks like it's just held on by this like kind of sticky material. So we're going to pull these off, and then the retrofit's going to begin. Alright, so that was really easy. Pretty much all I did was just make sure I go nice and slow all the way around the edge to prevent cracking either side of these housings, and the glue pretty much gave up really easily. So I think before I do the retrofit, I'm going to throw some gloves on and pick all of this old glue off. Alright, so I've gotten most of the adhesive off. There's still a lot remaining, a lot of residue remaining, but that's actually not really going to matter because these tail lights aren't actually exposed to a whole lot of water the way they sit and the way they're constructed. So you don't have to put a whole lot of stress into how you seal these things. But anyways, I'm going to go ahead and hit these with a coat of black paint. This is actually the part that you see when you lift up the trunk. So I'm going to go ahead and give that a quick little refresh, and I'm going to wash these things up, and then we're going to start the retrofit. Okay, so I've got several sets of LEDs here. I think these are like a set of truck tail bed lights from Walmart. These are some other light strips that I found on eBay. So these are going to actually be my turn signals. These right here are white LED strips. These are going to be my reverse lights, and these are also going to be the running lights and the brake lights. So I've got my lens here, and I'm going to go ahead and mock these up and see how they look before I permanently attach everything. Okay, so I'm making this up as I go along a little bit. I think my plans are changing a little bit from my original idea, but it's not going to be a big difference. I reconfigured my LEDs a little bit on this side, so now those are looking good. I did a little preview, but I'm going to show you what everything looks like at the end when I put all this together. These strips here are going to be held in by silicone, one of my favorite things to use. So here's what a bead of my silicone looks like, and I'm going to go ahead and lay this strip down right on top of the silicone. Alright, so at this point I'm not quite sure where I left off, but I've got pretty much all of the LEDs mounted just about where I want them to be. Still going to have to figure out what I'm going to do about a reverse light. I do have some LEDs that I want to use for that. I'm not going to use the strips like I had intended before because things are a lot more visible through these windows than what I originally thought. I also want to point out for you guys doing Foxbody retrofits, this is completely a blank area, so you can pretty much do anything down here that you want. And when you see the way that I did my turn signals, it would also have been really cool to do those down here. But I'm going to leave it here because you'll see why in a little bit. And let's go ahead and have a little quick preview of what these things are going to look like. That's pretty cool. Okay, so I just came up with a really cool idea for my reverse lights, and I actually happened to find some H11 LED headlight bulbs that I had laying around from a failed project years ago, and I just never threw them away. So I'm going to end up sticking these in for my reverse lights, and since the inside of my housings is still a little bit crusty, I'm going to use this galvanizing compound that I have to give this a nice metallic finish again, and make it just a little bit more reflective. That's gonna come out pretty cool. So now that that's on there, we're gonna go ahead and throw the light bulb back in there, and I already put silicone on there. I took the light bulb out so I could throw paint on it. But here's the bulb, and because it has that silicone gasket on there, the orange thing that you see, it's actually a really tight fit when it goes in. And I added extra silicone to it just to help seal it from weather, because I don't want water to be able to run into these things. So that's how that's gonna sit. Alright, so at this point we've got everything siliconed in and secured in. I don't remember if I just showed you because it's actually been a couple of days, but I've got anchor points set up so this thing is in here really well and nice. I've got all of my cords running up to one location so that they're out of the way as much as possible. Actually, to keep this stuff not visible, I should go ahead and secure this stuff here as well. That way you won't see so many wires. Actually, no. I'm going to leave it the way it is because, anyways, last thing to do is I'm going to go ahead and use this red electrical tape to wrap these wires where they're going to be exiting the light housing, and I'm going to have to run these wires and these little boxes out through this hole here, so I may have to enlarge that hole a little bit. Alright, so I just did a quick test fit to make sure that everything's going together okay, and everything is looking good. I can't actually see my wire in the background, so that's a plus. And I'm going to go ahead and take this kitchen silicone and silicone my tail light back together. Sandwich these two halves together. Is the look of one finished tail light. Total build time on these tail lights has been about a week. When I do retrofits and stuff like that, I just like to just take my time, piece the things together. Plus you have to wait a lot of time to let things dry, like the silicone and other sealants that you use. So it's taken me about a week to put these things together, and now we're going to get ready to go ahead and throw these things into the car. Okay, so now that my taillights are back in here, I pretty much have to go through and match up the correct wiring to my new wiring, and I'm pretty much just gonna basically splice everything in the way that it goes. Alright folks, bad news. I've got these things installed, I got everything wired up, and I looked to see what was going on with the brake lights, and everything is working, but the brake lights just aren't that strong. You can't really see when I apply the brake, you can't see the difference between the running light and the brake light. So what I'm gonna have to do is actually pull these things back out, pull them back apart, and I'm gonna add in a separate bulb for the brake light. Again, not quite what I wanted to do. I didn't want to have so many lights going on in there, but it's gonna work, and it's still gonna look cool. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use this blank slot that you see down here that's actually doing nothing, and I'm gonna run another LED inside of that to function as the brake light. Alright folks, the moment you guys have been waiting for. I finally got the tail lights installed, everything's wired up. We're gonna go ahead and close up the hatch and give these things a demo fire so you can see exactly what they do. Alright, so there's your look at the final version of these taillights. And I've got to say I'm extremely happy with the way things came out. It's a little bit different than what my original idea was for these taillights. What inspired me to do this is what I really wanted was to have the 3 bars with sequential turn signals, and that was all I was going to do. It's just going to keep it nice and simple. But I was having challenges trying to figure out how to get those things to flash sequentially. I was buying a lot of LEDs, looking for a lot of stuff. The hardest thing about this build was to actually find LEDs that could be used as brake lights. And in the end, as you could see, even the ones that I chose that were meant to be used as brake lights didn't really work out so well. And that's how I ended up doing a second brake light, a separate brake light down there at the bottom. So I went with the separate brake light and the separate turn signals. Things didn't come out super clean the way I expected, but like I said, this is my first taillight retrofit. The end result is still super awesome, and I'm really happy with it. One of the themes that I have for this car. Alright, so the main idea behind these taillights is pretty much to continue to add cues to this Mustang to tie it together to Mustangs of previous years and future years. So as some of you guys know, I've got the triangular style turn signals up front that kind of look like the S550 Mustang. In my opinion, the Foxbody Mustang is probably the least Mustang looking Mustang out there. If you look at Mustangs from every year, they all share some kind of common feature. The Foxbody doesn't have any of that, so putting the 3-bar taillights into this really ties this car together. So that's pretty much it on the summary of how to do these taillight retrofits. Hope you guys enjoyed it. See you guys next time.